You're not here by accident. You searched for this because something in your head won't stop. And I want you to know you're not broken. You're not weak. You're just stuck in a loop that nobody properly explained to you. So that's what we're doing today. And I promise you by the end of this video something is going to shift. I used to be a chronic overthinker. I would replay conversations for days. I would plan for problems that hadn't happened yet. I would lie awake building entire scenarios in my head that never once came true. And the whole time I thought I was being careful, being thorough, being smart. I wasn't. I was just scared, and here is the single most important thing I need you to hear in this entire video. Overthinking is not a thinking problem. It's a fear problem. You will never solve overthinking by thinking more. More information, more planning, more analyzing, none of it works. If it did, you would have fixed this already. You're clearly smart enough. Clearly self-aware enough. More thinking is not the answer. So what is overthinking really? A psychiatrist would define it as getting stuck in a loop of excessive thoughts without ever moving toward a solution. You replay. You dissect. You run what-if scenarios until you're exhausted. And nothing gets resolved. Because overthinking has no destination. It's a loop with no exit. Problem solving is the opposite. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. You identify the issue, you move toward a solution, you act. Even slow progress is still progress. Overthinking doesn't progress. It just circles. So next time you catch yourself going in circles, ask one question. Am I moving toward a solution, or am I just moving? That interruption alone is where everything starts. If you're already feeling this, hit the like button right now. It helps this reach someone who really needs it tonight. Here's why your brain traps you in loops, and it's not your fault. Deep in your brain is a structure called the amygdala. Your threat detector. Its entire job is to scan for danger and protect you. For most of human history it was perfect. You heard a noise, your amygdala fired, you ran, you survived. The problem is your amygdala cannot tell the difference between a lion and an unanswered text message. It treats both like emergencies. So when you're spiraling at 2 a.m. over something someone said, your brain genuinely thinks it's saving your life. It's not punishing you. It's trying to protect you. It's just completely miscalibrated for the world you actually live in. And the more you try to silence the spiral by thinking harder, the worse it gets. Because effort signals to your brain that the threat is real. You're turning up the volume by trying to turn it down. The fix isn't thinking more clearly. The fix is slowing your nervous system down first. A long walk with no phone. 10 slow deep belly breaths. 5 minutes of sitting still with your eyes closed. These are not soft suggestions. They are the things that signal to your brain that the threat is gone. And once your nervous system is out of alarm mode, your actual thinking becomes clear again. You cannot think your way out of a nervous system that's in survival mode. You have to feel your way out first. Now the deeper layer. The one most people never get to. Overthinking is fear wearing a disguise. And that fear almost always has roots that go deeper than whatever you think you're overthinking. Someone doesn't text back fast enough and your brain explodes. That's not about the text. That's about an older fear. Of being abandoned. Of not being chosen. Of not being enough. Maybe it started in childhood. Maybe it started in a relationship that hurt you badly. The text didn't create the fear. It just found it. This is true for every spiral. The job application you agonize over is really about the fear of not being worthy. The conversation you keep postponing is really about the fear of rejection. The decision you can't make is really about the fear of being wrong and judged for it. Here's the tool that actually works. Whatever you're overthinking, say it out loud. Then ask yourself, so what? Follow that answer with another so what? Keep going until you hit the bottom. What you'll find there every single time is the real fear. Not the surface thought. The actual thing underneath it. And the moment you name that fear, it loses power. Fear only controls you completely when it lives in the dark. Unnamed and shapeless, it feels enormous. But the second you look at it directly and say, "Oh, that's what this is," it shrinks. And a fear you can see is a fear you can work with. Whatever fear just came up for you, drop it in the comments. One sentence. You don't have to explain anything. Just name it. Because naming it is the first step to taking its power away. Here's the part where I stop being gentle. Understanding overthinking will not stop it. You could memorize everything I've said today and still go home and spiral tonight. Because overthinking is not an information problem. It is an action problem. The only thing that permanently breaks the loop is doing something. The smallest possible something. When you overthink and then do nothing, you wire in the freeze response. You teach your brain that spiraling leads to stillness. Do that enough times and freezing becomes automatic. But when you overthink and act anyway, even badly, even scared, even imperfectly, you start wiring in a different pattern. And over time that pattern becomes who you are. Someone who does things instead of someone who thinks about doing things. So stop asking if you're ready. Readiness is something overthinking invented to keep you standing still. Instead, ask, what is the smallest step I can take on this right now? Not the whole plan. One step. Send the message. Put on the shoes. Write the first line. Just move. Because momentum does more work than motivation ever will. Done is not just better than perfect. Done is the only thing that actually exists. Right now, what is the one thing you have been overthinking the longest? What is one action you could take on it in the next 24 hours? Write it in the comments below. Making it public makes it real. And real is how things actually change. Let me leave you with this. Overthinking assumes you need to figure everything out in advance. It assumes that if you just think hard enough and plan carefully enough, you can control what happens. But you can't. You never could. And every door that closed, every plan that fell apart, everything that didn't work out the way you needed it to, look back. Are you ruined? Or are you here, still standing, maybe even stronger for it? Life is working itself out for you. Even when it doesn't feel like it. Especially when it doesn't feel like it. The things that were meant for you will find you. The things that weren't were protecting you when they left. Stop holding on to why things didn't work out. Start asking what's being made possible because they didn't. Slow your nervous system down before you try to think. Follow the spiral to the real fear underneath. Ask if your thought is a fact or just a feeling. Take one small action, then another. And trust that you don't need to control everything. You just need to show up fully to today. That's it. That's the whole thing. If this gave you something, share it with one person who needs it tonight. Subscribe for more of this. And go do the one thing. You already know what it is.